Hey guys, how you doing? This is Benjamin with Bearman Exotics, and in this video today, we're going to be talking about ball python scale rot. Now this is a topic that is pretty, I don't know, it's discussed a little bit in the reptile community, but I think there's a lot of information that I can bring to the table to help you guys prevent this in your snakes. So without further ado, we'll get straight into the video. Number one, what is scale rot? Scale rot is a bacterial infection of types that is going to be on your snake's scales. Now, while it can occur all over the snake, on the head, on, the stomach, on the sides, on the top, on the spine, the most common place you're going to find it is on the neck or on the belly of your snake. And this is because of the reasons and the ways people keep their snakes that can cause this sort of disorder in your snake. And it's something you want to prevent. It's not lethal in small doses, but if you get too big of doses, if there's too much on your snake, it can actually stop the snake from feeding, which of course is not something we want. And if it gets too bad, it can literally kill your snake. It can completely destroy their skin, especially if it's on the belly, which is a very weak point on the snake compared to other parts of its body. So, first of all, now that we know kind of what scale rot is and what problems it really can cause, how do we identify it? Does my snake actually have scale rot? So the easiest way to identify it is to look on your snake's belly, and if you see blood under the scales, that is blister disease. Now that doesn't necessarily mean your snake has scale rot, but that means you need to fix something because scale rot is right around the corner. Once those scales start to get the blister disease and get damaged, all you have to do is throw in a little bit of bacteria and have that cage not be dry, and scale rot is right around the corner. And once scale rot does start to kick in, it's going to look like a brown, I almost want to say a brown, crusty, dirty look on your snake's scales. It will look as if your snake's scales are being eroded away and eaten by this dirt-like substance, okay? So that's what you're going to be looking for when you're looking for scale rot. So, what actually causes scale rot? And this is something that is also debated online and stuff like that. But in my opinion, and from what I've seen, I don't have any scale rot right now. As you can see with this girl, I'm just using her as a snake to hold and show you guys. She has no scale rot problems at all. Great white neck. But for many people, and I've even had it in the past, we hear wrong information online and we keep our snakes in a certain way, too wet, that gives them problems. So here is the main, I guess, sort of ways that scale rot is caused. And this is also a good thing to know so you guys can prevent scale rot. So number one, sitting in a wet cage for an extended period of time. It's not that by sitting on wet bedding that it's going to cause scale rot. It's the bacteria that is going to form because of that wet bedding that can cause scale rot. That's number one. Second thing is because your snake is not warm enough. Now this is something that I don't even think anybody ever mentions, but for any disease and disorder, whether it's respiratory infection, scale rot, blister disease, all these different things, if your snake is not at the right temperatures, it cannot adequately fight off that disease. And many times the conditions that a snake would need to get these diseases are normally just, in their cage. And if they have a weak immune system with not the correct temperatures, especially, the temperature really does affect how their body works. If the temperatures aren't high enough, they're not going to be able to fight it off, and that can cause peeling of scales and scale rot. So we need to make sure our temperatures are bang on, just about 90, and the snake should be able to get its outside skin to 85, 88 plus, okay? Not any higher than 91 or 92, but we need to make sure that they're kept decently warm. If too hot is bad as well. Now the third way is through damaged scales. It could be simply you take them out, put them on the sidewalk outside, they go on the ground, tear their scales up a little bit, not too bad, or even they just go over a rock that you have in their terrarium or a log or whatever. And those scales get ripped and damaged a little bit, you throw in bacteria with it, that can also cause scale rot. So now that we know what, kind of causes it, how do we treat scale rot? So there's a few different ways you can treat it. If you're just in the stages of blister disease and scale rot really go hand in hand, okay? You can have blister disease without scale rot, but you can't have scale rot without some sort of blister disease, if that makes any sense. It's kind of an evolution that goes on. So when you first have the blister disease, just straight up Neosporin, not the sort of liquidy bubbly type that you squirt out of a bottle, but the sort of buttery substance or like cream that you get through the bottles, the Neosporin, apply directly to the snake, not in huge amounts, and do not get it near the mouth, eyes, or vents. especially not in the vents. You can really have some problems with that. But you just put it on the snake once every 2 to 3 days. Don't let them get in their water bowl with that. What I'll normally do is I'll do that, let them kind of absorb it into their scales for about 20 minutes, and then put them back into the tanks. You don't want to just directly apply it and then put them into the tanks. Another thing you can do when they're in the blister disease or the blister problem you have with the snake, another thing you can do is betadine. Now, there's a few other names it goes by, but all it is basically this red liquid. I've used it before. You put a few drops into water until it turns to about an orange substance. You put a little bit more in if it's really bad, a little bit less if it's not. Let them soak in that, and all that's going to do is try to prevent the scale rot from happening. And while all this is going on, you need to have your snake in the driest environment possible. If you have them in a solid top tank, you need to strip that off and put on a screen. If you have them in a vivarium, you need to put them back to bland paper towels and make sure the water bowl is either small, so it's not putting off barely any humidity at all, or just take a water bowl out and only have it in for a few hours every day for them to drink. Don't leave it out for a long time because they need to be able to drink, but you don't want any humidity in there making the problem worse. So those are the basics on scale rot. Again, the main thing that causes it are wet environments with too much bacteria. And the problem is also that different snakes are more immune and more prone to this. I have some snakes, you throw them in any sort of humid environment, boom, they get scale rot like that. I have some other snakes, like this girl, you throw her in a really humid environment, she does fine and no problems with scale rot. So you really have to watch your snake. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I hope this helps you guys out with your scale rot problems with your snakes. Or if you have never got scale rot before but you were curious about it, hopefully this can kind of give you some cues so you can keep your snakes differently so you never have this problem. Again, it can be lethal. Don't freak out about it though if it is in small amounts. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you liked the video, please give it a like, and of course, if you like the channel, consider subscribing. If you guys have any questions, or if you have any pictures, or anything you really like to tell me about, or ask people down in the comment section below, of course, put it down in the comment section below. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.